Okay, so no intro for this video because I need to talk about something that's freaking been infuriating me since it came out. We're talking, as you know for the title, we're talking about Dragons the Nine Realms, or what you saw from the thumbnail, maybe the title too. I don't know. I don't care. Point is that this is why I made that video uh last year. I think it was like 2 years ago. I made like almost 2 years ago. I made a video talking about how the How to Train Dragon community is so god awful, and I don't associate with it anymore. And here's why. This like and with Dragons the Nine Realms coming out, and all these videos coming out about why it's gonna suck, is the main reason why. It's like the main. It's a perfect example as to why I don't I don't I don't freaking consider myself a part of the How to Train Your Dragon community. I'm just a person who loves How to Train Your Dragon. I'm not in that community though. I will never associate myself with them. People like that. Because How to Train Your Dragon fans nowadays, they're god awful. They're so they're so pathetic. How to Train Your Dragon fans nowadays are so pathetic. Like and I can't even matter of fact, I'm not even gonna call them fans. The people who A lot of people who like How to Train Your Dragon are just pathetic, because I can't even call them fans because they're not fans. Fans don't do this. Fans do not do that. Fans don't automatically say something is going to suck before it even comes out. That's not what fans do. A fan will show their support until they feel as though it isn't good. That's what fans do. What these people are doing, which is bashing on it before literally a 40 second 40-second trailer came out. The full trailer hasn't even come out yet. No one even knows when the full trailer is coming out yet. It's literally only 40 seconds. I don't even think there's just like probably 1 or 2 seconds of like them and the main character and the main character's the main human character and the main dragon character. Just like a 1 or 2 second clip of them flying. That's it. That's literally it. That's all that's there. And yet people are bashing it, saying it's going to be so awful. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're gonna freaking probably go in there and you're gonna love it. You're saying it's gonna be bad because it's not Hiccup in the gang. Get over it. You do realize at some point they have to die. They're people. They're living things. They're going to die at some point. They get old. Even if it wasn't like, cause even if it was like, matter of fact, if I'm looking this up right, if I'm gonna look this up right now, because if I'm not mistaken, if I am not mistaken, let me go to. Because there's literally no defending the How to Train Your Dragon. Like there's no defending How to Train Your Dragon community. It's at this point it's there's no at this point there's no defending it, because they're just ridiculously dumb and ignorant people. Because they're not fans. And those you can. Rescue Riders got 2 seasons and 3 movies. People kept constantly saying how garbage the show was. Now, me personally, because like here's my thing with Rescue Riders. I thought to myself, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but at some point, I'm gonna sit down and watch it and give it a chance, because I did the same thing with Lion Guard. Lion Guard was freaking fire. I did the same thing with Game of Thrones. I didn't want to watch it because I knew the dragons weren't going to be a big part of it. I mean, they were a big part of it, but they weren't going to be shown a lot in the series. Turns out they didn't have to be shown a lot in the series for me to enjoy it. I went in there going in there for dragons, and I came out loving the show for what it was, aside from the dragons. Because that's what people who should consider themselves fans do. Fans give material a chance. They give things a chance. I went into Rescue Riders and I watched at least 6 episodes and I realized it just wasn't for me. Because that's what a real fan does. That's what an actual fan does. They will support the people. They will support a franchise's new material when it comes out, like without just bashing it just because you like, without just like completely trying to destroy it and degrade it before you even know what it's about. Not to mention, these same kind of quote unquote fans are the same kind of fans who made Scott retire because of their toxic behavior. So the How to Train Your Dragon community is on Five Nights at Freddy's community level, but they're not though, because the Five Nights at Freddy's community is still higher than the How to Train Your Dragon community. And you ask why? Because when FNAF World came out, yes, the community hated it, but guess what? They played it first. They had the decency to play it first and support the creator. That's what makes the difference, and that's what makes them more respectable than the How to Train Your Dragon community, because they haven't even watched a single episode, yet they hate it already for some reason. This clearly makes some type of sense in their tiny minds. You don't know what it's about or anything like that, but you just want to just tear it down because it's not what you want. That's not a fan. That's not a fan. That is toxic behavior. And if you're a fan who does, quote unquote, if you're someone who does that, if you like How to Train Your Dragon or love How to Train Your Dragon, whichever one, I don't care. If you love or like this franchise, but you're the kind of person who does that, you're not a fan. Period. You're scum. And you make the rest of us who are fans, people like me, who will actually wait and watch at least the first half of a season of a show that comes out before they completely degrade it. You're making the people who actually support new material look bad, because stuff like that is not something, stuff like that is not at all cool. You're not a fan, you're scum, and you make the rest of us look bad. Don't ever call yourself a fan if you do stuff like that. Period. Because you are disrespecting the franchise if you do that. You're disrespecting every single last bit of good material in this franchise. Every last bit of it. You're disrespecting the gang, Hiccup in the gang, and you're disrespecting the dragons and every dragon in the franchise. You don't have a right to call yourself a fan. You don't. You can have all the shirts, all the merchandise, all the toys, all the clothing, everything. You're not a fan. You could be a cosplay. You could like cosplay this thing as like a How to Train Your Dragon character every year. You're not a fan if you do stuff like that. If you do stuff like tear down and like just send down a barrage of hate on new things like this. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It really just truly does not make any sense. People like that don't deserve to call themselves fans. It's so sad how people act like that. And these are adults too, mind you. Most of these people are adults, mind you. Most of these people are like 18 plus. Most of these people grew up on How to Train Your Dragon. I was the same one who was there when the first trailer for this movie dropped. The first trailer for this movie dropped. Watched all the promo material, played all the games. I am a fan of How to Train Your Dragon. Seen every episode of every show that revolved Hiccup in the gang. Like I said, I watched Rescue Riders for the first half of the first season. Wasn't my thing. I watched every episode of every series that came out, every movie, every short. Loved it. Played every game. Loved it. I mean, I have all the merchandise, but I have a couple of things. I have a couple of, I have a Death Gripper and Crimson Gorgot over there, but it doesn't make me a fan. Buying the merchandise doesn't make me a fan. What makes me a fan is me supporting this franchise by watching it. That's what a fan is. A fan is someone who supports the thing that they like, or the person that they like. You may be a fan of someone else. If you're a fan of them, you support them by watching the material, watching their content. If you support this franchise, you will at least sit down for a couple of hours of your time to watch at least, like, not even a couple hours. You could watch the first 3 episodes. Watch the first 3 episodes. If you don't like it, then it's fine. Because then you at least gave it a chance. You didn't sit there and be like, I'm not gonna watch it just because you think you're gonna hate it, or you think it's gonna be bad, or you feel like you know it's gonna be bad. A trailer hasn't even come out yet. We don't know who the villains are, if there are any villains. We don't know what half these dragons are gonna look like. You don't even know if there are gonna be any cameo dragons. Like, you don't even know if they could pull the rug out from under us and bring out a Night Fury, an actual Night Fury, because it wouldn't make any sense. Like we're not even gonna talk about the whole Grim will kill all the Night Furies, like, bullcrap that is completely unbelievable. We're talking about how you can be an actual fan by supporting this new series instead of saying it's going to be trash. People like that are worthless. People who do that kind of thing and just say that it's garbage without even knowing anything are worthless. They do not get to call themselves fans. Which is why I don't mess with the How to Train Your Dragon community anymore, because people like that are all over the goddamn place in there. So I'm just a person who loves How to Train Your Dragon, its dragons, and its characters. That's who I am. I am not a part of that community. I will not associate myself with that community, because that community is god awful and it's full of people I don't want to be around. People like that I don't want to be around. People who just say it's garbage and won't even give it a chance. You ain't no fan. You're a toxic piece of garbage. And you disgrace the actual How to Train Your Dragon fans. You disgrace us, and you disgrace the franchise by doing what you do. This still takes, unlike Rescue Riders, this still takes place. This still takes place in the realm of the 3 movies and the series that came out prior to this. This takes place within that timeline. So for some reason, that's still not good enough, because it's new, because you don't know these characters. You didn't know Hiccup in the game when the dragons came out. When dragons first came out, you didn't know Hiccup in them, but you loved Hiccup you loved Hiccup in the game. You loved Hiccup. You loved Astrid. Not so much the other ones, but once the series came out, you loved Fishleg, Snotlout, and the twins. You loved Stoic, Gobber, Valka, Spitelout. You loved all of them when they came out. You didn't know them when they first came out, but once you saw them in action, you fell in love with these characters and their dragons. So why can't you do the same with this one? Go into it like you went into How to Train Your Dragon 1. Like you went into the first How to Train Your Dragon series. Like how you went into Race to the Edge. Go into the series like you went in when you first watched this, like the stuff, like the content from this franchise. When you watched the first movie, the first Cartoon Network series, the first Netflix series. It's like, that's not a hard thing to do. It's not a hard ask to watch at least 3-4 episodes. If you want to be generous and give it some, give it some extra room, then do what I did. Watch 6 episodes, or just watch a whole season. If you feel like it's not going nowhere, then fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because you at least took time to evaluate that. You took the time to support them and watch it, even though you inevitably ended up even though you eventually ended up not liking it, you at least attempted to like it. You gave it a chance, because I cannot repeat myself enough. That's what fans do. So if you don't do that kind of, if you don't even support these kind of things, don't call yourself a fan, because you're not. You're worthless scum, and you don't deserve to be in the community of How to Train Your Dragon, because at this point, you're people in the How to Train Your Dragon community are gonna end up becoming as toxic as people in the Minecraft community. Kid you not. They're getting there. If not, as a matter of fact, they're riding that nice edge. People like that don't have respect for dragons. Period. In general, people like that don't have respect for dragons. They don't have respect for dragon lovers. Pure for dragon, they make dragon lovers, regardless of it's How to Train Your Dragon or just dragons in general. They make the rest of us look bad. I am both a fan of dragons and How to Train Your Dragon, and people like that make both of us look bad. Stop doing that. Tighten up. People like you are not cool at all.